Welcome to the Enchanted Lighthouse, where every week magical stories and new adventures await. Join our group of 7 wonderful animal friends as they bring tales about friendship, mystery, and wonder to life. From unexpected guests to heartfelt conversations under the moonlit sky, each story holds a gentle truth. We are so glad that you are here. Now let us begin. A stranger at the lighthouse door. The sea had been calm earlier that evening, its surface once smooth as glass, reflecting the soft glow of the lighthouse beam. But as night deepened, the weather began to turn. Rain crept in quietly at first, then harder, tapping against the stone and railing. Wind pulled at the waves, breaking their silence into restless murmurs. The lighthouse beam cut steadily through the gathering mist, a warm thread of light in the dark. That was when a shadow appeared at the edge of the winding path. Tall and lean, the figure moved slowly, carefully, as though he didn't want to startle anyone, even as rain soaked his fur and the wind pressed against him. His coat was grey like drifting mist, darker now with rain, and his amber-colored eyes shone pale and steady, like moonlight caught between storm clouds. Thunder rolled far out at sea. The waves whispered more urgently against the rocks below, no longer sharing secrets but warnings. Theo noticed him first. The glowing teddy bear stepped forward, his light brightening just a little as the stranger reached the doorway. "My name is Jack," the wolf said, his voice deep but quiet. "I've been traveling for days. May I stay here for a little while? Just to rest." Behind Theo, the lighthouse friends gathered. Hazel clutched the wooden railing, her tail twitching nervously. "A wolf?" she whispered. "Here? What if he's dangerous?" Milo narrowed his sharp Arctic eyes. "Wolves are clever," he said. "Too clever sometimes." Seppi pressed closer to Theo's leg, peeking out cautiously. "He looks big," the seal pup murmured. Only Zoe, moving at her gentle pace, tilted her head thoughtfully. "Sometimes," she said softly, "we decide who someone is before we have heard their story." Theo turned back to Jack, his glow steady and warm. "Jack," he said, "this lighthouse is home to many hearts. We protect one another here. You may stay for 3 days, but there is one rule." Jack listened closely. "Here," Theo continued, "we take care of each other." Jack bowed his head, his shoulders easing. "That is more kindness than I have felt in a long time," he said. "Thank you." Uneasy days. That night Hazel didn't sleep much. She peeked down the spiral staircase more than once, listening for unfamiliar footsteps. The lighthouse felt the same, but also different, as if it were holding its breath. Milo decided to test the wolf. He left a bar of slippery soap near the doorway. He even hid one of Theo's polishing cloths, watching closely to see if Jack would lie. But Jack only smiled politely. He helped Lumi carry shells up from the shore without being asked. He listened quietly as Olivia shared memories of storms long past. And when part of the old lighthouse door creaked loose, Jack fixed it with careful paws and a length of rope. Still, whispers floated through the lighthouse halls. "What if he's pretending?" Seppi asked one night. "What if he's just waiting?" Hazel added. Theo overheard them and sat down beside the glowing window. "Trust," he said gently, "is a gift. And like all gifts, it must be given before it can be returned." A quiet fire, Jack's story. That evening, after the lighthouse had settled into its soft nighttime rhythm, Theo lit a small fire in the living room. Its glow flickered gently across the walls, mingling with the steady pulse of the lighthouse beam outside. Jack sat near the hearth, his long tail curled neatly around his paws. For a while he said nothing at all. Zoe set down a plate of warm honey biscuits. "Stories," she said softly, "sometimes like to come out when things are quiet." Jack looked into the fire, the flames reflected in his amber eyes. "I wasn't always traveling," he began. "Once I belonged to a pack." Everyone listened. "We lived far inland, beyond the cliffs and forests. Winters were long, but we were strong together. We shared food, we shared warmth, we shared silence." His voice slowed. "Until one winter we didn't." He paused. "The storms came earlier each year. Prey disappeared. One by one my pack left, searching, scattering, hoping. Some never returned." Jack swallowed. "I stayed too long, waiting for something that was already gone." Hazel hugged her tail close. "That sounds lonely," she said. Jack nodded. "I walked for a long time after that. Every place I stopped, doors closed, whispers followed. I learned to expect fear before kindness." Olivia folded her wings gently. "And yet," she said, "you still knocked." Jack smiled faintly. "Because somewhere along the road, I decided if I stopped hoping, I would truly be lost." The fire crackled softly. Theo's glow warmed the room. "You are not lost here," he said. For the first time since arriving, Jack rested his head back. Not alert, not guarded, simply at ease. The night of the storm. On the second night, the sea changed its voice. The wind rose suddenly, howling like wild spirits racing across the waves. Rain struck the windows, and the lighthouse shuddered as thunder rolled overhead. Everyone rushed into motion. Milo secured the shutters. Zoe steadied jars in the kitchen. Theo's light glowed brighter, anchoring the room. Then Hazel gasped. "My toolkit!" she cried. "I left it on the balcony!" Before anyone could stop him, Jack was already moving. He leapt into the storm, rain soaking his fur as he climbed the slick steps. Wind tore at him, but he held fast, reaching the balcony just as the toolkit tipped toward the edge. With one strong pull he grabbed it. When Jack returned inside, dripping wet and breathless, Hazel stared at him, her eyes wide. You saved my toolkit!" Jack shrugged lightly. "That is the least I can do, after you showed me such a warm welcome." Something shifted in the room. A change of heart. By the third day, the lighthouse felt warmer. Milo sat with Jack, asking about snowy mountain paths and silent forests. Seppi climbed onto Jack's back, laughing as the wolf gave him a careful ride across the kitchen floor. Hazel handed Jack a small lantern she had made herself, its glow gentle and steady. "For the road," she said shyly. Theo smiled, his glow soft and proud. "You have proven yourself a friend," he said. "Would you stay longer?" Jack looked out at the sea, where the wind was already calling again. "No," he said gently. "I belong to the wild places, but I will always remember this light." He bowed once more, and then, with quiet steps, followed the path back into the mist. The lighthouse beam swept across the calm sea once more, and somewhere beyond the shore, a wolf carried its warmth with him. Every story has something to teach us. What did we learn today? We have learned that fear often speaks louder than truth. But when we pause, listen, and choose trust with care, we may discover kindness where we least expect it. Thank you for stopping by here today. If you enjoyed this episode, give it a like and don't forget to come back next week for a brand new adventurous story. Want to learn more about the magical tenants who live here? Visit enchantedlighthouse.com for a mystical map, creative artwork, and a few special gifts. Until then, be kind and share your light. See you next time.